What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Them Nerds. Jerry over there, Tony over here, Din Djarin right there. Because we're here to talk about The Mandalorian today. Episode 2 dropped late last night. It was good. We're going to talk about both episodes. We talked about the first episode on a Facebook Live, but, you know, that's not on YouTube. So let's talk about it here too. So I have been waiting, and we've talked about this. It was so nice to have a cinematic quality nerd show come on again after all this time being locked up in the house and nothing happening. How are you feeling about season 2 of The Mandalorian so far?
I thought the first episode was awesome. Like, I mean, it's just, pretty much from start to for the full 45 minutes, it kept up, and it was, I think, especially not knowing what kind of quality or what kind of things we'd be lacking because of the pandemic, there really was nothing. I mean, that movie was, it was shot like a movie and looked great.
Yeah. So the first episode, to me was like an instant classic. It was just so good. The whole, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, spoilers abound.
Spoilers.
If you haven't watched these shows yet, then why are you watching this show? Anyway, spoilers. Everything from the appearance of Cobb Vanth in Boba Fett's armor, which Timothy Oliphant as Cobb Vanth is a super cool character and one that I want to see back.
I also liked how he plays this marshal, and like a lot of his iconic roles that he's played that same role. Deadwood. Right. And Justified, I think it was called. Yeah. I mean, he plays that character so well.
Yes, yeah, and it really fits in well with this idea that The Mandalorian it's a Star Wars show, but it's a Western.
Yeah,
and he was a perfect choice for that role, and it's a character that I hope we see back. He, at the beginning of the show, you weren't too sure because he walks in. Of course, Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, he's on a quest to go and find Mandalorians and Mandalorian armor and anything that he can reclaim for his people and for his culture. And he's led to this village where they say there's a Mandalorian, right? And it's just Cobb Vanth wearing Boba Fett's armor, right? Boba Fett, last seen in Return of the Jedi, being swallowed by a sarlacc. The armor looks a little worse for the wear, of course, because it was eaten by a sarlacc.
Yeah.
Long story short, there's a doggone crate dragon, which was one of the coolest visual effects that I've seen in this series up to this point. It was definitely like movie quality. It was really good.
Yeah.
So they go out. They have to join forces with the Tusken Raiders and go out and defeat this dragon. The deal is, Cobb Vanth says, if you can help me kill this thing, I'll give you the armor. So they go through all kinds of nonsense, and Din Djarin is swallowed by a doggone crate dragon, blows it up from the inside, and he gets the Boba Fett armor. All is well. He's taking off, and who should we see standing on the hillside but Boba Fett? Allegedly. They haven't confirmed it. It's not like there was an arrow that was like, that's Boba Fett.
Yeah.
But I think we are led to believe that because, number one, it's Temuera Morrison, who played Jango Fett and ostensibly would look just like Boba Fett and any of the clones that are going to be on these shows, because they're all clones of Jango Fett, right?
Yeah.
He's standing there. He looks all jacked up, like someone who got eaten by a sarlacc, right? And that's how the first episode ended, right? So I don't know about you, but I go into episode 2 and I'm like, all right, let's get this Boba Fett thing going. What's going on? We didn't get any Boba Fett.
I didn't think you were going to. I think that was like, you're probably going to be, 5 more episodes in before we see anything else about it. I think that one thing that it did show is like, when the Mandalorian goes into, what did you call that thing? A sarlacc or whatever that
sarlacc
was. Yeah.
Oh no, he talking about the Mandalorian?
Yeah.
He got swallowed by the crate dragon.
Yeah. So when he's able to get back out of it, so it kind of shows you that maybe that's going to be a play of how Boba Fett gets out of it.
Right. Yeah, that's a great point.
Everybody's wondering, like, oh, he got eaten. How is he still alive?
Well, they did mention that the crate dragon eats sarlaccs, and the sarlacc. I mean, we don't get like a full picture of what a sarlacc is in any of the canon stuff, but it's basically like this gigantic creature that lives under the sand and has a mouth that sticks up, and it captures passersby and eats them. And apparently, the crate dragon, being under the ground, was able to munch it from underneath the ground. So.
From beneath you, it devours.
Yes, that's right. So episode 1, I think we both agree was pretty epic. It was good. So what did you think about episode 2?
Episode 2 was definitely a filler episode.
Yes.
But I think it was a well thought out filler episode. Like it didn't make you like, for the majority of the season of both seasons, the Mandalorian himself doesn't really talk much.
Yeah.
And this is an episode that really relies on him being the one who carries the dialogue for the whole episode.
Because he doesn't speak frog.
Yeah.
Did you watch this show with subtitles on?
No.
Okay, I watch shows with subtitles on because I am hard of hearing, her name was Frog Lady on the subtitles. And then it would say, every time she would talk, it would say, Frog Lady, speaking frog. Like, they really didn't think that one out. Of course, and then, it's kind of a common, knock on Star Wars that some of their names that they come up with for characters are kind of goofy. The giant like ant creature that was talking to Amy Sedaris's character was named Dr. Mandible.
Yeah.
Dr. Mandible is jaw, of course. I mean, come on.
I did think that was a nod to how bad the some of the creatures looked in the original trilogy, because like that was not believable.
No, just a big ass ant.
Yeah.
But it was funny to me that like we had Dr. Mandible and Frog Lady. It's like this is this multi-million-dollar show being written by some of the most connected Star Wars centered minds that exist, and they're like, you know what that guy's name's gonna be? Jaw Guy. Like Dr. Mandible, whatever. I agree with you. It was kind of a filler episode. But we did see some kind of cool little elements weaved in. We got to see some X-Wings.
That's what I was going to say. Is this the first time we've seen actual rebels or not rebels, what is it?
The New Republic?
The New Republic in the series?
I don't know if we saw any New Republic in the first season. I think this might be the first time. This is definitely the first time we saw, active X-Wings and them in their, full sort of getup. This takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So they've obviously started establishing themselves as the New Republic rather than, the Rebellion or whatever.
Yeah.
So I guess they're kind of starting. One thing that I noticed was a common theme between the first episode and the second episode was a communication problem, right? In the episode that was just dropped last night, we had Frog Lady and her frog language, right? Her croaking. But then in the first episode, we had some communication problems between Cobb Vanth and the Tuskens, and the villagers and the Tuskens. Luckily, Din Djarin spoke their language, but it was this kind of combination of noises and signing.
What I thought was neat was I had heard that I guess there was a hearing impaired person that was on the cast that played one of the Tusken Raiders, and they actually helped them create the sign language that they used so that it wouldn't follow the American Sign Language.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
I love how, and this is like a kind of a common thing in sci-fi and fantasy and all these nerdy sorts of things that we enjoy. There's all these like full-on languages that people come up with. Klingon. I mean, you can learn Klingon and Elvish on Duolingo, for goodness sakes. And now we've got Tusken Sign Language to learn too. That's super cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
And also, going back to the Tuskens, when you think of the Tuskens, especially like if you just think about the films, you think of them as, they were attacking the droids in A New Hope, and Obi-Wan had to come and save everybody and save Luke, and they seemed like this roving band of savages. And then in this episode, you got to see them as more of like this, kind of established Bedouin style society, and they have a language and they have goals and they have this, and it's kind of cool. I like how they flesh that out. This is a universe that has a lot of fleshing out throughout all of these different, films and now TV series. And I love that kind of stuff.
There was like, in this episode, I thought there was a good few humorous moments. Also, like, in I'm not sure what kind of, I don't know Star Wars well enough to know each tribe's name or whatever, but when he takes the jetpack and is walking away with it, and the Mandalorian sends him off into space with it.
Right. I don't know what that guy was supposed to be either. That didn't look like a familiar.
I thought it kind of like a mix between those people that are on that big tank thing that always rolls through the desert. It was
Jawas.
Yeah, and kind of a face of a Tusken Raider, which kind of gave me the impression maybe it's just picking up things from different people and putting together these bandit kind of looks.
Probably so. Yeah,
but
they seem like scavengers.
I also just wonder whether or not Baby Yoda is some kind of weird psychopath. Like every chance he gets is eating something he's not supposed to be eating. I mean, he's literally sitting there eating this woman's ovaries for the whole episode.
As soon as I saw that it was a frog lady,
yeah.
My first thought,
frogs. We already know that.
My first thought was him in season 1 eating that frog, and then he's eyeballing the eggs, and he's like, oh.
And then here's this woman, like our frog lady, that's like so worried about getting these eggs fertilized.
Right.
Yet she's not noticing that the egg count is going down.
Yeah. Are we going to just ignore the fact that the child has now cut this species' chance of survival like by a third at least?
And like every chance he gets, he's looking at the jar like lovingly, like he needs to get to it.
I think that's one of the things that kind of makes him such an endearing character. Like he's cute or whatever, but then he's like every once in a while, like when in season 1 when the Mandalorian was like shooting up off the off that hill, and he was like blasting all these people. Baby Yoda sitting next to him, like he loved it. Now he's over here biting the heads off frogs and eating, frog lady eggs, and you're like, he's kind of a crazy little bastard.
Yeah, and then I also thought there was a little bit of a nod to Aliens when they're in the cave, and that totally looked like a face hugger.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of too. As soon as they popped out of there, I was like, are those face huggers?
Yeah, which I also thought was a weird thing to just be like, I'm gonna go take a bath.
Yeah, I mean, I guess she's like amphibious and probably cold-blooded, so she probably needed the warmth.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like, I'm going to go take a quick schwitz.
I did think it was funny also that when they're running from the attack from the spiders, like she's running at first, and then when she realizes it's like really going down, I was like, she's just like, galloping.
That was kind of crazy. It was one of those special effects that made me think like, did they need that? I don't know. The frog hopping.
I thought it was like, pretty legit. Like I would figure the same thing. Like I'd be like, oh no, never mind. I'm gonna go werewolf.
I'm hopping out of here. All right. I think we've pretty much covered both episodes pretty well. Cannot wait for episode 3. This is one of those kind of double-edged swords. Each episode feels important because it's all by itself, but then you can't binge it.
Yeah.
Like if they dropped the whole season, I'd be done this weekend,
Yeah, that's true. But on a little bit of a spoiler, possible rumor note, there is word on the street is that Boba Fett is getting his own miniseries or possibly full Disney Plus show, and that they will start actually taping it starting next week.
Yeah. That's crazy news. It's such an iconic character, for them to just be like, oh yeah, by the way, we're doing this Boba Fett show.
But it does make sense because over the course of I would say the last 3 to 4 weeks, there's been small rumblings of new castings that have been coming out, and people just believed that it was going to be for The Mandalorian. But then they realized that The Mandalorian isn't planning on being beginning taping until 2021, maybe January or February, and this was something that's supposed to be starting in November. So is the word is that Boba Fett will be getting his own miniseries or full Disney Plus series.
That is the word on the street.
This is the way.
This is the way. Thanks for joining us today on this recap and chit chat about The Mandalorian. Don't forget to check it out every Friday on Disney Plus, and don't forget to check us out every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, bare minimum. Don't forget to follow us on social media at We Them Nerds on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We love the comments on Facebook. We love interacting with you guys. Don't forget to check out on Instagram. Jerry does a super cool spotlight. Right now it's G.I. Joe. Just caught the Snake Eyes one. Good stuff. One of my favorites. I like that he has a wolf. I don't know. All right. That does it for us here. We'll see you guys soon. Be good. Be good to each other. Bye.